enough for my demo. Try 8 and 9 with your group. Look carefully. They're similar but different questions, so look at those carefully and see what your group can come up with. While you're doing that, I'm going to come around and collect the blocks. That's not easy.
Yes. Well, if you add up 90 and 60, you get 150, and then you just about it. But we can also do it this way. We can say, okay, we got 60%, and then 90%.
What's your group here, Cass?
No. That one falls too? There's one that all right.
And so, to average that out, we're using.
Oh, if you're still using them, have at it.
And so, 9 would, I don't put one over here. And then this one would be in the middle, and so it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Talk to your group members before you get busy calculating anything.
60% on our possible points now. We're at 60%.
She's at 90, we got 60%, 900 possible points. I have 60% of 900.
I know.
Times 900, 60%. You're at 540 points. And then you just add 90 to that, which will give you 360. And then you divide that by 1,000.
Talk about your reactions first. That might help you figure out what to do.
Average.
If you work first and talk later, it's going to take longer and probably be more frustrating.
Did you understand how it did?
I did, but I didn't write it
I just took the 60
If you wanted to add them in this part, like, you have to enter there, or you have to put parentheses around it. What you meant was to combine them and then divide by 100. Oh, I'm looking at the wrong.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I just had to be.
So what's, okay, so you've got the right numbers. What's the
Divide 630 by 1,000.
I'm adding it. I'm adding it. I'm trying to get you to think about something we talked about the other day. So compare the two questions. What's the point there?
What I get out of the portion.
With the blocks help?
With that one.
With that one, not so much with the other one.
I mean, it could, but you'd really be like stretching it because these are all multiples of 10s. So it's 10 points.
Oh, okay, yeah. It's a little easier there.
Yeah.
Okay, so since you guys have the actual answers correct, what's the point of the problem? What am I trying to get you to think about? What was the difference in the two scenarios? Because in both cases, you've got a 60, right? And you're getting a 90. What's the difference in the two scenarios?
This one, you're averaging 2. This one, you're taking just one test and you're like averaging it with everything. Like all the points, which could have been out of, you already had 900 points so far, and so that was obviously more. So this is like one test weighted against the rest of the class, and this one is 2 tests averaged together.
So in both cases, you're kind of averaging two numbers, right? The 60 and the 90. But in this one, they've got the same weight. It's an extra one exam. And in this one, yeah, and in this one, that 60's got a lot more weight behind it because it's representing a whole bunch of points.
You were saying that yesterday.
We talked about that.
The averaging, and then instead of like averaging everything.
Yeah, when can you average? Yeah, and so here you can
Average
kind of
averages.
yeah. So exactly, it ties in with all of that. So this is the idea that like if you got a 60 on your first exam in here and you get a 90 on your next one, your exam average is going to go up to a 75. This is more if you wait to the end of the semester and you got a 60 average on everything up to the end, and then you get a 90. So that 90 is not going to do as much.
That 90 is like
So up here,
3%.
yeah, up here the 90 brought you up to a 75. Here the 90 is only going to bring you up to a 63. So things are going to have, be able to affect your grade more early on before you get so much weight behind that 60. So
This is an example that shows up way too often.
yeah, that's why we're talking about it. Yeah.
How will this affect your grade? Oh my gosh.
You did get that. Okay.
Added the 90 points for the next 100 point quiz.
Okay. What did you divide by 2? Why did you divide by 2?
60% of 900
Wait, just because there's 2 of them, can I average?
plus 90 points.
And that's what I want you thinking about. So at this point, I see we got the 540, I see we got the 90, you added, we got 630. 630 out of what? What were the total points? Well, you had 900 here and another 100 here, so 630 out of 1,000. So I think you want to see it out of 1,000 instead of dividing by 2.
You just do it the same way, except for.
So otherwise you're getting a number that really doesn't make sense. Like I don't know what to do with that 315, and maybe that's how you're feeling too.
Divide 20,000
Why?
by
Because
the
60% of 900 before, it was all out of program. 80% was.
Makes a lot more
All
sense.
right, let's go ahead and come back together and talk about 8 and 9 here. So a couple of things I want to know. First of all, just the answers to them and how you got the answers, but also what's the bigger point here? Because that's arguably more important than the answers to the individual questions. So on the first one, a 60% out of 100 possible points, and then 90 out of the next 100. So what's the average in that case? What did you do?
You add the 60.
Add the 60 and 90,
But
get 150, and then
Divided by 200.
And then 150 divided by 200, and you get 75%. Did anybody do it differently?
Yeah, I did 60 plus 90 divided by 2. And it's
Yeah.
90.
You could just do 60 plus
But it only
90.
worked because it was out of 100.
But that, okay. So 2 different ways, but you're gonna end up with the 75%, right? So you can just average those 2 scores, 60 plus 90 divided by 2, because they're equally weighted, right? They're each an exam out of 100 points, so it kind of makes sense to just throw them together and average them. Do a little twist on this. Now you've got 60%, but not on one exam out of 900 possible points, and then you get an A on the last one. So this is kind of like going into the final with a 60% and then getting an A on the
you
final.
had to multiply 900
What was that? You need to drop
You
it.
need to drop the class.
Or you need to kick it in sooner, I think is what I want you to have as a takeaway point here. I don't want you to bail. I just, if you're gonna kick it in and get a 90, don't wait till the
But you
end.
did say in the finals, not this one.
Yeah. Okay, so tell me what you were doing.
multiply 900 by 0.60
Okay,
to get 540.
okay,
And then you add 90
okay.
and divide by 1,000.
So you get 630 points, and then you're doing 630
Over
out of 1,000.
You get 63%.
You get 63%. We all agree on the number? Yeah? Okay, anybody do it differently? Or everybody did some version of this, pretty close?
90 points.
Okay, so here's the big point. I don't want you to just get the 75, get the 63, and move on. I want you to realize if you have a D on the first test, and then you get a 90 on the next one, right? You can get your grade up to a mid-C with just that 190. But if you wait till the very end and you've got a 60 average on a whole bunch of things, that 90 is not going to bring it up much, right? It's only going to bring it up 3 percentage points. Okay, so that's what we were talking about yesterday. Kick it in sooner, right? If you're capable of getting a 90, man, do that on the second exam where it's still going to have a huge effect on your grade. It's not going to have much of an effect at the end because that 60% has a ton of weight behind it, right? It's not 100 points. That 60% is weighted by that 900. Okay, we'll come back and talk about weighted averages a little bit later in the course, but this is kind of a nice preview of that idea. What was the title of this section?
Analysis.
Prevention.
This word? Pound of cure. Okay, so you can never again say you haven't heard that, which is what you all told me yesterday. Which is what you get every single time too, right, Kathy? Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think we're